Good morning, one and all. A very good and a warm welcome to everyone assembled here. I am profusely elated to call upon our chief guest, Pravachana Bhaskar, Shri D.A.Joseph, founder and president, Rishi Dharma. It's a mark of our undying tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of any important event. I now call upon Harsha and Srivani to lead us into the prayer.
वन्दिता शेषवन्द्योरुवृन्दारकम् चन्दनाचर्चितोद्धार वीणांसकम् इन्दिराचञ्चलापाङ्गनीराजितम् मन्दरोद्धारि वृत्तोद्भुजा भोगिनम् प्रीणयामो वासुदेवं देवतामण्डलकण्डमण्डनं प्रीणयामो वासुदेवं देवतामण्डलकण्डमण्डनं प्रीणयामो वासुदेवं प्रीणयामो वासुदेवं ಜಗದ ಇರವು ಮೇಲಣಿವು ಹುಟ್ಟು ಐಸಿರಿಯ ಹಿರಿಯ ಯೋಗ ಬಾಳು ತಿಳಿವು ನಿಯಮನವು ಅಂತೆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಬಂಧ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಯಾವ ರಮೆಯ ಕಡೆಗಣ್ಣ ನೋಟಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿಹುದೋ ಅಂತವಳನು ತನ್ನ ಮೆಲು ನೋಟದಿಂದ ಕಾಪಿಡುವ ಹರಿಗೆ ನಮನಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮರುದ್ರ ದೇವೇಂದ್ರ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಯಮಧರ್ಮ ಚಂದ್ರರಾದಿ ಸುರರ ಗುಂಪು ಈ ಜಗದ ವಿಜಯವನು ತಿಳಿವಿಗೆಟುಕದಂತ ಯಾವ ರಮೆಯ ಕಡೆಗಣ್ಣ ನೋಟದಾಶ್ರಯದಿ ನಡೆಸುತ್ತಿಹುದೋ ಅಂಥವಳನು ತನ್ನ ಮೆಲು ನೋಟದಿಂದ ಕಾಪಿಡುವ ಹರಿಗೆ ನಮನಂ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯ ಮುಖ ಕಮಲದಿಂದ ಹೊರಹೊಮ್ಮಿದಂತ ಹಾಡು ಹಿರಿಯ ಅರ್ಥವನು ಸಾರುತ್ತಿದೆ ಹರಿರಮೆಯ ರಚ್ಚುಮೆಚ್ಚು ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯ ಮುಖ ಕಮಲದಿಂದ ಹೊರಹೊಮ್ಮಿದಂತ ಹಾಡು ಹಿರಿಯ ಅರ್ಥವನು ಸಾರುತ್ತಿದೆ ಹರಿರಮೆಯ ರಚ್ಚುಮೆಚ್ಚು ಭಕ್ತಿಯಿಂದ ಭಗವಂತನನ್ನು ನೆನೆದಿದನು ಹಾಡುವವನು ಹರಿಯ ರಮೆಯ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊಂದುವನು ತನ್ನ ಬಯಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹರಿಯ ರಮೆಯ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊಂದುವನು ತನ್ನ ಬಯಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಓಂ ಪೂರ್ಣಮದಃ ಪೂರ್ಣಮಿದಂ ಪೂರ್ಣಾತ್ ಪೂರ್ಣಮುದಚ್ಯತೆ पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते अगजानन पद्माकं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्मये त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव हरि ओम्.
We all feel blessed indeed. Now it's time our chief guest to take the floor.
भगवत् कृपयालब्धं सद्गुरुं ईशं च तत्कृपालब्धं जानन्न उपकृति महिते भगवती परमां भक्तिं आतनुते. Mukam karauti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yad kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam. Asmat gurubhyo namaha, asmat paramagurubhyo namaha, asmat sarvagurubhyo namaha. Honorable Principal of this college and my dear friends sitting on both my sides who were talking to me so long, and Dr. Jaishankar, who brought me from my residence to this place, self-driving, and the budding citizens of India. I pay my loving respect to all of you. Day before yesterday, I was given the topic. They said you must speak on the greatness of India. But this topic has been touched upon by very many speakers, including Yuan Song, who came from China. During the 7th century, he visited India. It was he who wrote about India's greatness for pages and pages. It was he who gave the name Hindu for the first time. So, greatness of India is already known. It is not to be freshly known now. What is to be known is, does that greatness have any relevance to us? In what way it is pertinent to young students like you? That is the question now. If we take up a census around the world to find out which country lacks very much in patriotism, fortunately or unfortunately, India would come first. Indians don't have patriotism that much. I don't say they are bankrupt. They are patriots, I agree. But compared to the level of patriotism they must have, the reality is not satisfactory. The dream of every student sitting here is probably to go abroad, to go to States or to Japan or Australia or any foreign country, get a good job and get settled there forever and forever, never to return. This doomed, cursed India, leave it. Who cares for it? And they judge India by the lavatories of India. If you ask a man who is living in America, sir, what do you feel about India? You go to any bathroom of an Indian house, you will see how India is. In foreign countries, they maintain everything very neat and clean, from the airport to the beggars' street. Everything is neat, clean, very cultured. They will be praising foreign culture sky high. And I am yet to come across an Indian who speaks high of India. No. They are always crazy about foreign countries only. Now, this craze for foreign countries, how did it come? Why did it come? It's all the money value, the dollar value. The US money is much more worthy than Indian rupee. 1 American dollar is equal to 70 Indian rupees, I think. This attracts them. And the consequence, their technical advancement, their machineries. For a young blood, this is a more than enough attraction. Okay, it is left to you. I don't want to intersect into your freedom to admire other countries. That is your personal right. Now, let us study about India. How far is India lovable? If a man decides not to go abroad and to stay back in India, work for India, earn for India, and decide to live in India alone, or if at all he goes abroad, he will come back with foreign money, he will not get settled in foreign countries. If he takes a decision like that, will it be welcome today? When Abdul Kalam was invited abroad, the NASA promised him a salary which was 10 times more than what he was drawing in India. He said, we will pay you sumptuously, come to us, work for us. He said, no, I would rather starve and die in India than get foreign money. I don't want to die a traitor. India gave birth to me. It gave milk to me. My blood circulation is full of Indian food. I was taught Indian languages. I was brought up by Indian scientists. If today I am an internationally popular scientist, it is because of Indian background. I cannot become a traitor, he said. Now, how many of you will say that word? That is the question here. When we observe that Abdul Kalam says that and we applaud very loudly, great Abdul Kalam. Would you be an Abdul Kalam in a similar situation? I don't think so. That is the present thinking. So, I am here to tell you a few things about India which are not new to you. All of you know about it before. I am just reminding you, that's all. I am not teaching you. What I am going to say now, these things you already know. You are all fond of Google. All students, whether they are familiar with their textbooks or not, they are familiar with internet. They know which channel will give what. If you go to Google, you can look for some useful information. When I was recently visiting Google, I found out this section, which country ranks first in crimes, in raping, in looting, in stealing, in murder. I was very much interested to know that. Because every day when I turn the pages of the newspaper, I read, alli kole madidare, illi balatkara madidare. No news is good news. Your BP shoots up. If you want to maintain your BP, never read newspapers. That is the condition today. So I thought India is leading in crimes. But the Google says, the first country to rank most in crimes is Venezuela, America. Then comes Papua New Guinea, near Australia. Then South Africa. Where does India stand? India stands in the 48th place in crimes. I was simply taken aback. I felt like flying. Is India that good? Unbelievable. Incredible. Is it so? There is one organization called UNODC. UNODC means United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes. That releases a magazine periodically. It says, in raping, India comes the 46th. In raping girls, America comes as the 9th rank, 15 times more than India. And in India, if raping is caught hold of, And if the culprit is arrested, he is severely punished. In United States of America, if a rapist is arrested, the second day he can be seen in the public road, walking freely. There, raping is not considered that seriously. It is just a biological urge, they say, like sneezing, like coughing. Raping is an occurrence. Whereas in India, sex is attached with sentiments. If a girl gets raped, it is not viewed at the physical level. It is viewed at the sentimental level, at the religious level. And it is a very serious, heinous crime here. And perhaps India is the only country to look at raping like this. Then another news, an interesting news, and whatever news I give you today can be verified this afternoon. You can go and try your Google verification. Which country has the lowest rate of divorce after marriage? Which country comes the first? These two questions have been gnawing my mind since my collegiate days. So I tried that. Google says India has the lowest rate of divorce in the world. And what is the percentage? What is the percentage? Below 1%. Below 1%. Of course, clashes happen between husband and wife. But here, society interferes immediately. The fathers, the father-in-laws, the mother-in-laws, the mothers, the cousins, the nephews, they immediately interfere. They try to suppress the matter. Don't go to the court for this. After all, what did your husband do? He threw a big spoon at you, and you threw the dish plate at him. So, two throwings cancelling each other. Leave the matter there. Don't go to the court for this. They suppress it, and it does not lead to a divorce. It ends up, say, it might carry on a silence of 10 days. For 10 days, they won't talk. They won't be in talking terms. The husband will turn towards the wall and say, I feel like having a coffee. Then after 5 minutes, you can find the wife coming with a tumbler of coffee. She will keep on the table, tuck, and go quietly. That is the way she shows her anger. But for such things in America, they go to the court. And you know what happens? Highest rate of divorce is USA, 46%. Then Colombia 9%, Mexico 15%, Luxembourg 87%, Spain 65%, Russia 51%. They take into consideration the frequency also, not merely the percentage. The Guinness World Records.com, there is one channel called Guinness World Records.com. It gives us the following information. What is that? India is the largest democracy. You know what a democracy is? People vote up their ruler. That's democracy. It is the largest democracy in the world, number one. Number two, India has the largest postal system. Not only that, the best postal system of the world is Indian. You know, I will tell you one real example. I was talking to a postmaster in Madras. I asked him, sir, there are heavy complaints against your department. Are you working properly or not? Then he drew the drawer, he took a letter, and he showed it to me. Upon the address cover, it is written like this. Hand this over to Mr. Manikya Raj, who is living in 18 this and this street, Madras 5. Then below, if he is not available there, go to this address, second address. And below that, if he is not available there also, go to this address. And he said, I went to all these 3 addresses. That man was not available. So it is in my drawer. Why it is in my drawer? I am waiting for the person to come. We have given message. So this humanitarian attitude of postal men is not found anywhere in the world. You go to America or you go to Russia, if the postman does not find the address clear, he will immediately tear it off and throw it on the road and go. Who cares for this address? Such is their temperament. Then, India is the only country with so many languages and religions. If you go to other countries, you will find at the most 2 or 3 religions. Or 2 or 3 languages. Here in India, how many languages? How many religions? Each religion has its subdivisions. How many languages with lipi? How many languages without lipi? There is a language called Saurashtra. These people, they moved from Gujarat to south during Mohammedan invasion, and they got settled in many places. They speak Saurashtra. But the Saurashtra does not have a lipi. We have in India, as major languages, 50. Religions, how many? But all of them live in harmony. Now we see here, I see hundreds of people sitting here, not all speaking the same language, not all belonging to one and the same religion, but they are able to live in harmony, mutual harmony. This is unimaginable and impossible in other countries. Only India hosts this. They said it is possible only in India. Then, India is the 3rd country in the world for billionaires. You know who are billionaires? We know about lackeyers, billionaires topmost. In the world, India stands the 3rd. You know Mukesh Ambani? Mukesh Ambani is the richest man in Asia, not only in India, in the whole of Asia. His father, Dhirubhai Ambani, you know, his original name was D.A.Joseph. Lal. In Hindi, D.A.Joseph Lal means a man of courage. D.A.Joseph means courage, D.A.Joseph Lal. But people abbreviated the name and called him as Dhiru. You know, we do it, you see. If a boy's name is Narayana, we call him Nara. Hey, Nara, come here. Holy names, they suffer torture in our hands. Like that, this D.A.Joseph Lal was called Dhiru. While he was working in Arabian countries, he found the notice board of a shop. The name of the shop was Ambani Electricals. He approached the owner and asked, what does the word Ambani mean? Is it Persian or Urdu or Hindi? Please tell me. He said, none of the languages you said. It is Roman language. It means, in Roman language it means, Ambani means, I have most money. I have most money. I like the word because I want to become like that. So I kept it as the name of my shop. That very day, this Dhirubhai attached that word with his name. He called himself Dhirubhai Ambani. That became Mukesh Ambani, Anil Ambani. So he had such an ideal, I will become one of the richest men in the world. And he became. So here we find India is the 3rd country in the world for billionaires. Then India ranks the 2nd country in the world which people from the other parts of the world want to visit at least once in their life. An American is a dream man for us. But an American always has it as a target of his life to visit India at least once. Because he reads so much about India, yoga, temples, palaces, multivarious languages in one place, multivarious religions in one place, very cultured people, very calm society, very understanding society. I would like to go to that country. You would have heard about Genghis Khan from Mongolia. He invaded several parts of the world. He came up to India, he turned back. His friends asked him, why don't you invade India? Why don't you conquer India? He said, no, India is a land of gods and saints. I don't want to shed blood in that country. It is history, man, it is history. I am not telling you a story, it is recorded history. And all Buddhists, even today, have as their life's target to visit India at least once, because this is the land where Buddha was born. Then, India was the country which invented plastic surgery first in the world. You would have heard about Sushruta. Sushruta was a rishi. He tried eye surgery, and in those days when Alexander invaded India, King Purushottama, he opposed him. At that time, one of the soldiers of Alexander, he was wounded badly in the battle. His nose was cut completely. He lost his nose. He did not want to live without a nose, so he tried to commit suicide. At that time, one man said, hey, in India there are doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, who can do plastic surgery. They will saturate your nose within 2 days. And it is recorded in history that military captain came to the South India. He got his nose cured. The doctor here in India took some flesh from his thigh, shaped it as a nose, kept it there, applied some herbal juice, put a bandage, asked him to remain like that for 1 week. After 1 week, the bandage was removed. There was that new nose, unwounded. What is the period of Alexander? When was it? So the earliest plastic surgery was tried in India. Then, the next point, India is the wettest country in the world for agriculture. You know, in other countries we find long rivers like Tigris, Euphrates, Niagara, all those rivers are there. But those rivers keep the lands wet only in some areas. Very many areas are dry, unfit for agriculture. Whereas in India, the desert area is very little, and all the remaining area is cultivable. Perhaps one sort of what do you call this paddy or sugarcane might not be possible to cultivate there, but some other crop is possible to cultivate there. In a land where rice doesn't come, you can cultivate groundnuts. You can cultivate other plants like that, you see. But in toto, no area of India is uncultivable. This is a discovery made by United Nations Agricultural Department. In India, any square foot is cultivable, perhaps the crop changes. Then, rivers. India has a very peculiar observation. What is that? Every river in India is holy. In other countries, perhaps 1 or 2 rivers are holy. In India, Ganges, Brahmaputra, Jamuna, Vaigai, Godavari, Kaveri. How many rivers there are? All rivers have some Purana behind it. There will be a temple on the bank. they will be having a holy story. Taking a bath in that river is holy. It removes your sin. Every river. Take for example Kaveri. Kaveri belongs to Karnataka. I don't know whether you have heard about that story. It seems every river has an Ati Devata. If there is a river Kaveri, that in charge of that Kaveri will be a deity, a female deity. Her name will be Kaveri. Like that, 7 Ati Devatas of 7 rivers are walking together. Once upon a time, a Brahmin came from the opposite side. While he saw those 7 women, he gave his namaskaram like this and passed by. When the man was gone, these 7 women talked among themselves. One lady asked, "Whom did he worship?" Another lady said, "All of us, all the 7. The third lady said, "No, I was watching him. His eyes were fixed to one woman only. Who is that woman is the question now." You know, women get jealousy very soon. Married men can understand that easier. So they started quarreling. No, only me he was seeing. River Ganges said, "Undoubtedly it was me. Because Ganges is the holiest river in India, so he worshipped me only." River Vaigai said, "No, it was me." Then they quarreled and for judgment they went to the Supreme Court. What was that? Brahmaloka. Brahma was the judge. They went and gave a namaskaram. "Namaste Brahmaji, there is a dispute among us. That Brahmin, whom did he worship?" Then Brahma sat in meditation, Jnanadrishti. He said, "Ganges." Then all the remaining 6 women, they put down their head. They felt defeated. All the 7 came back. Then this Ati Devata for Kaveri, she could not digest it. How can I leave it like this? This Ganges gets worship all times, everywhere. It is not proper. Then she sat in penance to Lord Vishnu, and after long penance, Lord Vishnu appeared. "What do you want?" "I want to be deemed as the holiest river in India." He thought for some time. Well, it's possible, but not now. In future, I am going to be born as Lord Rama in Ayodhya. Ravana will take away my wife. I will chase him to Sri Lanka, fight with him, bring her back. During the fight, the brother of Ravana, Vibhishana, will join me as the 5th army for him. Then Vibhishana, having been loyal to me, after the battle is over, he will ask for a presentation from me. I will ask him, "What do you want?" "I want the puja idol of your sanctum sanctorum. That is Lord Ranganatha. I will give him. While taking back it to Ceylon, he will keep it in a place called Sri Rangam. Then that place will be such that river Kaveri will divide into 2 and uncover that temple in such a way that the temple is situated in the center of the river. At that time, the Bhattacharyas of the Sri Rangam temple will take Kaveri water for Abhishekam daily in a golden pot. This bhagya, this fortune, is not for Ganges, it's for you only. So, poets will sing this way: Kaveri is holier than Ganges. In Tamil we sing as an Alvar Pasuram, Gangayir Chiranda Kaviri. At that time you will get that honor, but you are given your boon, you may go at peace, he said. So, you are all living in Karnataka, drinking the water of Kaveri, not knowing this story. So, if you happen to meet a North Indian, you can tell him this story, make him feel desperate and go back to North. Anyway, here, taking bath in a river is considered holy, as giving salvation, as removing your sins. This is not found anywhere. You go to the nearest river in India, take bath, you will be blessed. Not in USA, not in Russia, not in Australia, in no IT industry country. Then, here, worship spots. The international records say every country has churches, mosques and temples and worship spots like this. But if you count the number, including churches and mosques and temples, the highest number of worship spots is in India only, in the whole world. In India, one Britisher writes, I won't ask anybody to show me a holy place. If at all I am about to inquire, I would say, show me a place in India which is not holy. And that Indian would say, there is no such place there. Why do they say that? They say Lord Rama was born in India, Lord Krishna was born in India, all the 10 incarnations occurred in India, and our Lord walked across the land towards the length and breadth. Not a speck of soil is there untouched by him. You would have heard about Raghavendra. He, before his demise, called his disciples. He took them to a particular rock. He said, upon this rock, Rama was sitting, worrying about Sita. I know that by my Jnana Drishti. So, when I finish this Janma, you build Mantralaya with this rock. You keep me in the center, and by the pieces of this rock, you must build that Mantralaya. And that has been done today. Mantralaya is built only by those rocks. Raghavendra said, there is not a place where Rama did not sit or walk. There is not a place where one of the 10 incarnations did not visit. Or leave alone God's incarnations, speak of rishis, hundreds of rishis. They came to India, they lived here, and they were loitering, they were wandering, doing penance here and there. So this land is a land of rishis, holy incarnations. Every speck of sand, every square inch is holy. And our dear Indians want to leave this country, run away to America for earning money, to get settled there. Think of that. When Vivekananda returned from his foreign journey, he landed in Colombo because Ceylon was a part of India at that time. In his first speech, if you happen to read a book called Vivekananda's Lectures from Colombo to Almora, in the first speech he says, before I left India, I had respect for India. But now that I have gone around the world, I have come to understand that India is not a country, it is a temple. He fell flat and worshipped the land. He said, India is a holy land. If there is any land on this earth that can lay claim to be the Punya Bhumi, where every soul wending its way Godward has to come to account for its karma one day or other, it is India, he said. No nationality man can boast like this. No American can say this. No Frenchman can say this. No British man can say this. They say our motherland, okay, it gave birth to us, it brought us up, we respect it, that's all. But we can't say our salvation is connected with our country. Salvation is something supramental. This is merely biological or geological. But here it is not so. India is a Sattvic country. People living here are basically Sattvic. Americans question us this way. If you see other countries, there is a channel called Touropia. If you click that channel, they will show you America, they will show you Switzerland, they will show you all foreign countries. The inner layout of the cities. Roads are broad, very neatly maintained, cleanly maintained. People are very decently behaved. Whereas if you come to India, you look down upon the road, each road has hundreds of ditches, ups and downs. Perhaps the Indian roads teach you a lesson that life is full of ups and downs. You can learn that lesson. In my young days, I used to see all the movies. In those movies, the hero of the movie will ride on a horse, like that. I used to feel very adventurous and heroic. I used to have a desire to go like that on a horse. But when I became a college student, when I rode upon my cycle from my home to college, my desire was fulfilled. Because my cycle will go up and down. So many ditches that road used to have. So these foreigners ask you, why don't you mend your roads, man, first of all? When we come to your country, the roads are not usable at all. How ugly you are maintaining it. And one Indian was there to answer him this way. Indian roads show that Indians are more cultured than any other countryman. Culture? What do you mean? What does culture have with the ditches of a road? How do you connect these two? The Indian said, we are patient enough to bear with all these drawbacks. When a road accident happens, when one man comes and dashes against you, that man goes away quietly, this man goes away quietly. If you stop both of them and ask them, why don't you fight, man, over this matter? That fellow will say, today's astrological karma for me is this. I read in my newspaper today, road accident for Mesha. So it happened. Why to blame him, like that? And that fellow would say, I was watching the cinema Postal while riding, so I missed the road. So Indian traffic accidents teach you patience. So our Indian roads show that Indians are more cultured than any other man. Because in America, if this thing happens, they will immediately take out pistol, dishum, fire, that's all. I would like to say our traditional patience and culture has maintained a sort of social balance which is not to be found in any other nation. Then, every Indian who goes abroad, who lives in America or other country, unanimously he says this one thing: American children are stupid children. Only our Indian children who are living there, they win the first prize in schools and colleges. They fare well. And not only that, Barack Obama, the ex-president of USA, he has confessed that high positions of America are being held by Indians only. Doctors, engineers, vocations which demand high IQ, they are occupied by Indians. My humble request is these Indians must not leave us and go to their nation. Don't boycott our nation. That was Obama's statement. The next president, Trump, he also very much was favorable for Indians because he did not want to lose the Indian population from America. These Indians who go there, they are brilliant. They win prizes. They are pioneering. So as far as IQ is concerned, Indians are leading in other countries. Whereas if you come to India, we find brainy children very much. Do you know that the world chess champion was an Indian, Anand? Have you heard about it? He could not be beaten by anybody. His brain was so sharp. He could foresee the next moves, subsequent moves, well ahead of time. And I shall come to the next point. You would require documentation. 14 scientists have changed the course of the world, and all those 14 are Indians. I will read out their names. Number 1, Srinivasa Ramanujam. He was a mathematician. He was born in a poor Brahmin family. His mother used to go and cry at the feet of goddess Mahalakshmi at Namakkal. She was called as Namagiritaya. Her cry was so passionate that one day she got a dream. In the dream, Mahalakshmi appeared and said, "Your horoscope is poverty-stricken. I cannot change your fate. But I will make your son a popular mathematician. He will earn money and he will change the condition of your family." And that night, this Srinivasa Ramanujam got a dream that goddess Mahalakshmi appeared. She wrote Om on his tongue. From the next day onwards, he became a skillful mathematician. Suppose you drop a matchbox before him. The matchbox, while falling down, gets opened. The sticks fall down. Matchsticks fall down. You go there and take it and close the box, picking up those fallen sticks and keeping them inside the box. If Ramanujam was there, he would ask you, "Can you tell me how many sticks were there in that box?" You would say, "Hey, I was not counting, man. The box was open, the sticks were fallen out. I put them back, I closed the box. How can I count it?" But I can say it was 47. Count it and find, man. And if you open the box and count the sticks, it will be exactly 47. He could count with split-second speed any number. And near Chetpet in Madras, he met with a car accident. And that was his last part of his life. And he was to die very soon. Well, the police officer, that is the IG or Director General of Police, heard of this. He went to the hospital where he was laid and said, "You see, can you tell me which car dashed you? I am going to bring that fellow to the court and I am thinking of giving him the highest punishment. What a popular mathematician you are. That rascal has almost killed you." He said, "I know the number, but I won't give you the exact number. I will tell you one thing. The square root of this number was this." You know, in the split-second accident where the car dashed him, he noticed the number board, he absorbed the number, and within his brain he calculated what is the square root of this. Such a powerful mathematician he was. Today in Oxford University, if there is a statue of an Indian, it is the statue of this Ramanujam. Britishers don't believe in statues, only we believe. If you walk along the marine beach of Madras, how many statues you can see? Statue for Anybody and everybody. And many people question, whose statue is this old lady standing here? You have to explain. We are fond of statues, but those people are not fond of statues. But those people erected a statue for Srinivasa Ramanujam. And his mathematical skill is till date unequaled. Number 2, Satyendranath Bose. Number 3, Vikram Sarabhai. Number 4, Jagadish Chandra Bose. He is called J.C. Bose. You know, this J.C. Bose was a botanist also. He found out that even plants and the trees have sensing. They can feel pain and pleasure. He wanted to present it to the world, his theory. But he was a poet himself. So he presented the matter this way. He said, if you are angry with your wife, if you want to beat her with anything, but not with a rose flower, because who knows who will suffer more. If you beat your wife with rose flower, she will not suffer, rose flower will suffer. Because roses are so tender and they are capable of feeling pain. So in order to tell the world that plants have sensing of pain, he put it this poetic way. And that statement is world famous, J.C. Bose. Then Salim Ali, the expert on birds. Then Abdul Kalam, you know. Then Meghnad Salah, he is an astrophysicist. Then Hargovind Khorna is a biochemist. Then Sir C.V. Raman. Sir C.V. Raman, you know, he took up the research as to the color of ocean. The ocean is blue. But if you take a palm full of ocean water and see, it won't be blue. It will be plain, colorless. But if you drop it down, it looks blue. It was a great enigma for him. It was a puzzle for him. Why does ocean water look blue while it is not blue? That was his research. He worked on it. Then he submitted his thesis on it. That thesis is held to be the most intelligent thesis on oceanography. He said, the colorless water takes a blue color on account of these reasons, because of these conditions. And his study on colors was singular. Then Birbal Sahani. Then engineer Visvesvaraya, he belongs to Karnataka, right? You know, this Visvesvaraya was born for very poor parents. During his infancy, I read in one magazine that a street full of people had adopted him with such terms. For the first week, he will stay in one house and he will eat the whole week at their expense. If he incurs any expense for school or college, that particular family will pay. Then when the first week is over, he will go to the next house. They will support him for 1 week. Like that, one whole street was supporting him, week by week. He finished his studies that way. And nobody knew that he was going to become world famous. It was he who planned the city of Bangalore. When he proposed that Bangalore city can be constructed there, many engineers said, no, you are making a wrong decision. It is a hilly area, man, with ups and downs. How can you construct a city? How would you put up an irrigation system, wiring system? It's not possible. He took it as a challenge. He proved that it was possible. And I was living in Bangalore for 5 years as a law student, and I have enjoyed Bangalore to the utmost. And that is how I picked up my Kannada. Now, this Visvesvaraya is a world famous town planning engineer. Then 13, Venkataraman Radhakrishnan. Then the next person is Homi J. Baba. Then the last comes S. Chandrasekharan. He is a physicist. These scientists have earned a name for India, and these scientists are held in very high esteem. Marconi is held in high esteem for having discovered the radio. But the fact is, Marconi did not discover it. It was Jagadish Chandra Bose. When the Guinness Book announced that Marconi discovered the radio, there was a case in the International Court launched on behalf of the J.C. Bose. And the International Court accepted the petition. So Indians are brainy, they are very pioneering and inventive. The thing is, their name doesn't come out. Now, after all this summing up, I would like to tell you one thing. I saw once in YouTube channel, Indians living in USA, they have published YouTubes. The title would be this: "For heaven's sake, don't come to USA." It is launched by an Indian. He had gone from India to USA, he is living there. And there he brings out the disadvantages for an Indian living in USA. Culture-wise, food-wise, monetary-wise, everywise he is suffering very much. And he says in one place, in India you can see people smoking, but only when they grow moustache and beard they smoke. But in America, 6-year-old boy can be seen smoking in the streets, in the houses. Even the father cannot stop him doing it because he is already smoking. So children pick up vices very early, very easily. The foreign culture is a permissive culture. Permissive culture means they allow infringement of morals freely. India has been enjoying a good culture. You know, in colleges and schools, if a boy or a girl is mischievous, if he or she does not study properly, what do? The principal sends a notice to the parent, "Please come and meet me." The parent goes and stands before the principal with folded hands. "Sir, I got a message." This principal asks, "Have you given birth to a son or a dog?" "Why, sir, why are you talking?" "He is doing a dog's work here." So, cut him short. Make him become aware of discipline, or else he will be dismissed, man. "Sorry, sir." He'll go back. Then he'll call the son, he'll give a drumming, and there will be a big clash. The mother will come defending the son. "You have told me very many times that during infancy you were also like this, and paternal hierarchy only has come, lineage." Anyway, the matter will be settled. But in foreign countries, if the principal sends a notice to the parent, most often the parent comes and says, "If my son does something wrong, why do you call me? You punish my son and try to correct him, man. My son is above my shoulders. I cannot correct him." And that is the way America goes. So the family tie is broken in foreign countries. And the unique feature of Indian culture is, India is noted for its family tie all over the world. And people like to be born in Indian families. And I remember to have seen a movie during my young days. A rich Malaysian couple, they come to India and they advertise in newspapers, "We are billionaires, but we have no child. We would like to adopt a child from India, but we would like the child to be like this." Now this press, the media people, they surround those couple. They say, you are a billionaire, all right, we understand. You have no child, we understand. You want to adopt, we understand. But why do you come to India for adoption? Why don't you go to America? Why don't you go to Burma? Or why don't you go to some other country to adopt a child? Even there are many children. For that billionaire says, only Indian children are affectionate and attached to the family. I have read enough in magazine and stories. How is it possible? The culture, the Indian culture that has been coming down the ages from days of Vikramaditya, it teaches how a family should be. The family culture is affected by food. What is the kind of food you take? What is the kind of food you must avoid? Children allow themselves to be disciplined by parents till they grow up as young men and women. You know, foreigners don't believe one thing. When we say that here we parents fix the girl for the boy, when the boy is of marriageable age, we search for a good girl, we fix her for him and we fix the marriage. And very often the boy writes from his work spot, perhaps he is working in the army, he will write, I don't want to see the girl, daddy. If the girl is satisfactory for you, fix the marriage. Such things we hear very often. How is it practically possible? These Indians are crazy, I would say. No, you are going to marry a girl, you are going to live with her the whole life. You have not seen her once, you have not talked to her once, you have not moved with her once, you don't know her likes and dislikes. How are you going to marry? Marriage is a serious thing, man. Okay, you please advise how to marry. You choose the girl, you take her to the beach, you take her to nightclub for 3 or 4 times, live with her as man and wife, experience how she is like, then take a decision. And that is the way they choose their life partner. Whereas here in India, marital relation is not only harmonious but also religious and holy. That thing only in India we find. Now, having heard so much from me, I don't know what decision you have taken. If I ask someone from there, perhaps from the last bench, boy, please get up, what do you think now? He would say, I would think, when will this fellow stop his lecture? Oxablade lecture. Now, what I expect from you is, I know that all of you are not going to be influenced by my sayings, but at least a handful, a few. If a few dozens of students have understood more about India, if they have taken a decision not to boycott India, that they will live in India and work for India and prove that they are not traitors, I would feel that this lecture is fruitful. So, with this humble request, I think I have given enough of India, and I don't think there is any other way of dealing with this subject without boring you. If I start telling you, we have Himalayas, it is the tallest mountain. Sir, we have read that in books, man. This social history, we have read enough. Stop this. So, those points are not going to be useful. So, I approached this point from this angle, and you are welcome to give your opinions. I don't know whether your principal would allow you to have an interaction. If you allows, you are free to ask me questions. I am here to answer. So, with this word, I thank the principal and the concerned authorities. First of all, the 2 Swamijis. I think this applause shows how happy they feel that I am completing it now. These 2 Swamijis, one Vishwapriya Tirtha Swami, then second is Ishapriya Tirtha Swamiji, who invited me from Pondicherry to Udupi, made me talk yesterday and day before. and they made it a point to go to Adamuru school and give this lecture. I am indebted to them. I am thankful to them. And more than anything else, I am surprised to see that young people like you, at this young age, could sit calmly to listen to a lecture. It is very surprising, and I should thank you for that. So, if you have no questions, I take leave. Thank you.
ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯರನ್ನು ಸ್ಮರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಈ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ದೇವತೆ ವಾಸುದೇವನನ್ನು ಸ್ಮರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು, ಇದು ಭಾಗ್ಯ, ಇದು ಭಾಗ್ಯ, ಇದು ಭಾಗ್ಯವಯ್ಯ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹುಟ್ಟುತ್ತಾನೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಳೆದ ನಂತರ ಅದೇನು ಆರ್ಷೇಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯೋ ಅದೇನು ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯವೋ, ನಾನು ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತ, ಮಹಾಭಾರತ, ರಾಮಾಯಣ, ವೇದಾಂಗಗಳು, ಪುರಾಣಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಅವರ ಮಾತು ಕೇಳುವಾಗ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೂ ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ. ಕಠೋಪನಿಷತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂತಿಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂತಿಂಥ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ. ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಒಂದೇ ಶಬ್ದದಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಹೇಳೋದು, ವಿದ್ವಾಂಸರು ತಾವು, ವಿದ್ವಾನ್ ಜೋಸೆಫ್ ಅಯ್ಯಂಗಾರ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳು ಉಡುಪಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುದ್ದು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರನ್ನು ಈ ಸಭಾಂಗಣಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆಸಿದರು. ನನಗಂತೂ ತುಂಬ ಖುಷಿಯಾಯಿತು ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ. ಭಾರತೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು, ಭಾರತೀಯತೆಯನ್ನು, ಭಾರತದ ಭವ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಇನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳಲಿ, ಇನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆಂದಾಗಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸರ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ಎಸ್, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ನೋ ಒನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬೀಟ್. On behalf of Admar Math Education Council, Adamaru Matha, and all the students, all the members, sir, we thankful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir's speech made us realize how fortunate we are to be born in India. Thank you, sir. Now, it's time to felicitate our sir, chief guest. I would like to respect Dr. A.P. Bhatt, sir, to honor Shri D.A.Joseph. I also request our secretary, Shri Sridhar Rao, to give away memento. I request principal to give away magazine to our chief guest,